Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Tuesday edition of the JP Peterson Show. The pre-show was already spicy. So you're going to get some definite opinions from Nick Geddes and I today on many things, but the Rays especially, because we're done. We're sick. We're sick and tired of what's going on. Of course, we'll get to the Lightning exit interviews yesterday. The headline, obviously, Steven Stamkos wants to stay. The Lightning want to keep him. So we'll get into that. We'll hear from all the key players in this one, Julien Brisebois, Stamkos, and all the gang. We'll also hear from Kevin Cash. All kinds of fun stuff coming up on the show. We got Bucks news as well. We'll be talking about the draft picks who are coming in and some interesting shorts that Tristan Wirfs was wearing. So all that and more as we get this show started this morning. Good morning to you, Nick Geddes from On3 Sports. How are you?
Oh, God, those Rays, man. Look at me. I'm wearing my new Rays swag. I got my Sky Ray hat here.
Oh, that is the Sky Ray. Let me tilt that in a little bit.
There's the Sky Ray. Let me get in here.
That's nice. That's nice.
Came in yesterday in the mail and everything.
We're shipping all in. How much?
It was $53 after. But listen, I live over in Lithia. If you think I was driving to Tropicana Field to go pick it up from the store, you're out of your mind.
Gas would cost you more.
You're out of your mind. So I had no option but to order
$53 for a lid.
It was $53 for this hat.
You know, I threw this out on Twitter. I'm like, what's the profit margin on a hat? What do they make it for? $275 in China?
Probably not a lot.
Yeah.
And the quality of hats has gotten worse as time has gone on.
You would think just one owner, would do the old schooner tuna thing, the tuna with a heart. That's from.
This is just like the standard, though. It has nothing to do with like the owners. Like this is just like the standard rate they sell it.
All right, just know what MLB.
Yeah.
Why don't you just give a little something to the people out there that are getting crushed by this ridiculous Bidenomics inflation? Well, just throw us a freaking bone, babe. And like, you know what? We're going to cut it all by 50% this month, just because everybody's taking it in the short.
Did you see? Speaking of this,
and you still make a mint. Probably would sell more, by the way.
Speaking of that, before we really dive into the Rays, like on topic, did you see Tiger released his Sunday Red apparel line yesterday?
Yes.
And this man is charging $175 for polos.
It's ridiculous.
Polos and $50 for ball markers, which sold out immediately, and now you can buy them for $300 on eBay. A ball marker.
What idiot is paying $300 for a ball marker?
They're doing it.
So you could buy them for $50, but they're on because I guess they sold out.
They sold out like within like minutes, and now they're already up on eBay for like upwards of $300.
I mean, I understand. I understand that people will buy it. I get it. There's a lot of rich people in this world, or people just putting it on credit cards that they never be able to pay.
Right.
But is there no embarrassment whatsoever?
No shame. No shame.
Is there any shame whatsoever? Like, what are you doing? It can't one person. I think. Well, who was it that came out with the shoes that are actually affordable?
Well, Shaq always had shoes that were available at like Walmart and
Kmart
and stuff like that for the kids.
Yeah, thank you. That one person. Like, can anybody just start saying, look at this thing? I don't have to sell my polos for $175. You know what? I'm going to sell them for $40, for $35. You'll probably sell more. But then I know, well, then it's not exclusive, so it's not as good. It's like, well, when do we get to the point where you have to have the only way to get status is to wear something that costs you more than your mortgage? Like, this is of all the stupid things that are going on in America, it's one of the things I hate the most is like everything is about how much I paid for. It's not even what it is. It's not even about what it is. And what about the quality? Like you said, if you're going to charge me $40 for a hat, can it not be good quality? Do you have to cut to the bone? Like, how much cheaper can we make it for? No, how about you make a quality hat for $10 in America and sell it for $40? How about that idea? It just oh,
Best part too about Tigers Sunday Red
no
too
humanity
is
left in this world. None.
right. And the other thing too about Tigers apparel line, it's called Sunday Red, and there is not one Sunday Red polo available for you to buy. Not
What?
one was even listed.
They don't make a red polo?
None of them were listed. There was no red polos, and it's literally called Sunday Red. Signature line. There were no red polos to buy. You could buy green, you could buy all these weird colors, but you couldn't buy red.
You know why? Because there's going to be a special release of the red.
Exactly.
A special release.
And it's probably going to cost you
$5,000.
Yeah, there you go.
And people will think, oh, I got to, and they're going to go to the first tee and go, yep, I got
Probably
my
gonna be
Sunday red. And I'm going to go,
JP.
you paid $5,000 for that? I don't care how rich you are. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You could have, take some of that money and give it to people that need it. How about that? No, I'm going to show my $5,000 Sunday red polo. Yes, because I'm rich. Look at me. You're a moron. But whatever. And not only are you a moron, but your ethics have to be questioned. Your humanity has to be questioned. If you're going to waste that much money on a freaking polo just because you can say, it shows your insecurities, in my opinion. So I don't know. We've gotten off on a tangent, but away we go. All right. Well, let's zero in on the Rays. First and foremost, what the F is Junior Caminero doing in Durham? Besides hitting 2 home runs in every freaking game he plays with contact off the bat of 110 miles an hour. You could literally add up all of the contact from the Rays yesterday, actually in the entire Brewers series, and you would not equal the percentage of Junior Caminero's game yesterday. Literally. 2 home runs over 100 miles an hour off the bat, over 105 miles. Like 110, would we get 110 and 107? No, 103.
Don't forget the double. That was 114 off the bat.
The double was 114 off the bat. Yeah. So, why is this guy? You literally have nobody on your major league roster that can hit the ball out of the park. Nobody. He's the 4th best prospect. And from what I understand from the smart people that do all the stupid numbers, you're not even saving service time at this point, unless there's some complicated thing that you could be saving a little bit of money, which of course the Rays would obviously be into at this point. What are you doing? Like, in what world is Junior Caminero not in the big leagues? Like, someone explain that to me. It's Thursday morning at 10:07. Why the F is he still in Durham? Has there been an announcement? Because if he's not in the lineup tomorrow, as an organization, like, you're completely moronic. Like, what the F are you doing? What could possibly be the reason? Oh, well, he still needs to work on the curveball. We don't want to bring him up too early. Really?
Before his personal life went off the rails a little bit, that's underselling it. I recall a young Wander Franco, who was also at time the top prospect in baseball. Remember that, JP, in 2021?
Yeah.
And he was called up pretty early, if I recall.
Yeah.
Earlier than the Rays have ever called up anybody. You want to know why? Because his performance in the minors and his pedigree as a prospect dictated it.
Yeah.
And here it is again, round 2 with Junior Caminero. And listen, it's not like he hasn't gotten a cup of coffee in the majors already. You had him up here for like the last month or whatever it was last year. So results. He skipped AAA completely, but this year he had some injuries already this year, but he's come back. He's got 6 home runs in 16 games. He's hit 4 home runs in his last 3 games. Like you said, he's hitting the ball over 100 miles an hour, like every single time he gets a hit. And the Rays offense is devoid and lacking any. They have like the lowest barrel rate in baseball. I already mentioned that one. So they don't hit the ball hard. They are like 26th or something in doubles. They're like 28th in triples. So they don't hit extra base hits. They're like 25th in home runs. And you have a literal gym sitting at your disposal in AAA, while I have to watch Harold Ramirez get at bats. I got to watch Curtis Mead get at bats. I got to watch all these guys get at bats and look absolutely silly at the plate right now, while the Rays score. How many runs did the Rays score this series?
4.
And you know what's crazy about it, JP? 2 of those runs aren't even RBIs. They were the Brewers who messed up. They won a
Yeah.
1-0 game on what was it, Monday night?
That's right. That's right.
Because of a pass ball, and they avoided getting shut out yesterday because of a pass ball. They scored 2 runs on their own against the Brewers after a series in which they got swept by the worst team in baseball, who, by the way, just got, I think, swept by the Twins, resumed being the worst team in baseball after they got stopped playing the Rays. Right. So you're doing all this right now, and you're in last place in 14 and 18. And like you said, I'm going to keep looking at the time. It's 10-10 now on a beautiful Thursday afternoon in Tampa Bay. The Mets are coming into town this weekend. Guess what? They're wearing those Icy City Connect jerseys. You're going to see plenty of this hat all weekend.
Ooh.
How is he not up right now?
It's the
malpractice. It's malpractice if he's not called up today or tomorrow.
First of all, you should have him at the Trop this morning on your day off, or at the event tonight from 5 to 10 o'clock. But before that, you should have him at the Trop doing batting practice at 3 o'clock, just to give. I mean, why not get a little bit of publicity for your team and get your fans like excited about seeing the weekend? I mean, does that come into it at all? Like this organization is just so bad on so many levels. Like what? Like, and I know, well, they won 99 games last year. They're the only team that's been to play. I get it. They get the regular season down. They really do. No question about it. We can't do squat in the postseason because they never spend money. And that's when the money players show up. So I don't know. I'm so, you can't watch them. They're completely unwatchable. It's painful. Like you get mad. Like, why would I want to inflict myself with that absolute frustration to watch this? I literally would rather watch an NBA game. Like, no question. And definitely watching hockey, even though it's not the Lightning. I have no desire to watch this BS. Who the hell wants to pay for a ticket to go see this team? Some overpriced ticket for and pay overpriced the concessions to go see this.
I said this at the end of the White Sox series on Monday's show. Like, this 162, and you're never going to be playing your best, throughout the season. I mean, there was a stretch last year where the Rays went 6-22, and that was in July, if you recall. I'd much rather be skidding in April and May than in July. But the difference was the Rays had gotten out to such a great start last year. They gave themselves this cushion that it really, I mean, they didn't win the division, and that sucked, but they still were able to win 99 games and get to the postseason and whatever. But now you're having to play catch up now on the season. Granted, they did this in 2021 when they started out 13 and 15, but again, not every situation is the same. That team in 2021, far superior from a talent standpoint than the current product on the field. Yeah. I use the word current because, yes, I'm aware for all the optimists out there, and that's why I'm not like closing the door on the season. There is a lot of reinforcements who are coming. Hopefully, eventually, we just mentioned Junior Caminero. Johnny DeLuca hit a home run last night, by the way, too. I'd get him up here already as well.
Yeah.
Josh Lowe's going back out for rehab. Hopefully, we don't have no more setbacks. Miranda's behind him. Taj Bradley was fantastic in his rehab start the other night.
5 hitless.
He'll take Tyler Alexander's spot right away.
Right.
And hopefully he grew out a little beard. He's got some of the baby face that went away. So maybe he's locked in a little more. And away we go. And we'll see if we have better results after that. So I'm not closing. This is not closing the door on the season, but it's just speaking to what we're watching right now. 2-8 in their last 10. They're the worst team in baseball going at this very moment. That's a factual statement.
Well, before I get to my rebuttal of that, why I don't think that's going to help. Let's just chew on this for a second. As you mentioned, 4 runs in 3 games against the Brewers, 2 of those by a wild pitch. They had 3 singles yesterday out of the infield. 5 hits total, 3 singles out of the infield. You can't even make that up. 15 of the 16 hits they had in the series were singles.
They don't get extra base
because
hits.
You know why? Because power hitters cost money. 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position yesterday. Again. What else? 1 and 5, obviously, in the last game, on the road trip.
You got the numbers on how many stolen bases they allowed in the series, too?
Oh, no. How many were that?
They gave up 5 in the second game.
Yeah. With a lefty on the mound.
They don't hold runners on.
Who doesn't?
They don't have a catcher that can throw.
How can you not hold a runner on? That's what I said yesterday. And this is my main take. And by the way, just so you know, I'm doing my research. Junior Caminero slashing 333, 390 on base, 759, 1.149 OPS. We got no room for him in this stacked lineup. Oh, but what position is he going to play? I don't freaking care.
Don't care.
Sell popcorn. What position can he play? I mean, put him anywhere. It doesn't matter. He has a bat, which nobody else has. So here's my other take. It's the culture, Nick. It's the lack of leadership. Like these guys, say what you want. Getting rid of Kevin Kiermaier didn't help you, except in the pocketbook. It put more money in Stu's pocket. That's the only reason that happened. Getting rid of Tyler Glasnow didn't help you. Getting rid of Manuel Margot didn't help you. None of it helped. All these moves are just to save money. Save money. And did you go out? Did you use that money to go out and buy a power hitter? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You're printing money over there. You always say you're going to put the money back into the team. You lie. You never do. You never do. You just stuff it in your pocket. There's no leadership at the top of the franchise. There's no leadership in that clubhouse. None, except bad leadership. You got a bunch of guys in there more important feel more important about how they look, how much weight they can add, how buff they can be, how much jewelry they can wear, how many different colors hairs they can put on, how many different styles they can have. And that's the thing about these City Connect jerseys. That's all great. You look great. These guys are more worried about how they look than how they play. All the freaking time. All the freaking time. They don't back each other up in the field. They don't play with any detail. They're horrible fundamentally. They don't hold runners on. They can't throw people out. They can't hit. And worst of all, nobody looks like they even effing care. Nobody. It's a train wreck. And I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming eventually. And now you're doing this all as you're trying to build $2.4 billion out of the city of St. Pete and Pinellas County. And you look like fools. You look like morons. You can't even come close to filling up that stadium in a playoff game on a weekend or on a weekday because of its horrible location. And now you're going to build another one right in the same place. The whole freaking, this is, you've been able to cover this up and put lipstick on this pig of a trop and a pig of a franchise because you've been able to win during the regular season. And I get it. You've come up with a formula where you can expend all your arms and just use them like they're disposable and come up with a formula where you can win some games in the regular season. I tip my cap to you. And you're doing it but you're doing it on a shoestring budget. And sooner or later, that's going to crash. Sooner or later, that's going to crash. And now it's out there for everybody to see. And I got news for you, Nick. It ain't coming back this year. I don't care how many people you bring back. None of it. You might be able to start playing a little bit close to 500 baseball, but I don't see it. You've given away too many players. Willie Adames. Look, Willie Adames, I get it. You had to make room for Wander Franco. Did anybody do any research on this kid's character? Or from day one, this guy got checks and he was just spending it all.
But
like
I can't. I can't.
Nobody.
I can't blame the Rays for that.
I can.
I can't. See, this is what I can't do. It's like a year ago before all that stuff came out, the Rays were the biggest winners in the world of that deal because they got Drew Rasmussen in that deal and were able to call up Wander Franco and Willie couldn't hit in the trop and anything. And now because he's hitting great in Milwaukee, like we have to, and Wander is not around and Drew has Tommy John.
No, I'm not saying that was a bad. I understand you had to do that to open it up for Wander. I get it. I get it. I understand that. That was a good trade. But
I mean, I'm more liable to have the discussion of Wander Franco in his personal life has hurt this team a lot because the team has not looked right going back honestly to when the Wander situation happened.
Who did you go out and get to be a leader in that clubhouse, to counsel him, to be his mentor? Like who clearly he wasn't getting the message. Clearly he wasn't getting the message, or you didn't do it or care to do it. Whatever it is, it's a dumpster fire. The whole situation is a dump. You put all your eggs in a basket that was very fragile. That was very, very fragile. And you knew that. And you knew it. And it bit you in the ass. And that's why this, eventually the truth comes into the light. Eventually the truth comes into the light. Like I said, you can mask it all with a lot of regular season wins and make the wild card because they come up with more wild card spots to get. Yeah, and you can do that. But after a while, it's all going to come crashing down.
Well,
And I think it's coming
I
crashing
agree
down.
with
We
I
need new ownership. We need a stadium in Tampa. I'm so sick of this charade that Stu Sternberg is running. I love baseball. I love our team. I love our Rays. This owner is an absolute disaster. He's set back Tampa from building that stadium 5 years. He set back the city of St. Petersburg from doing what they should be doing with that property that's right by the residents. 5 years. Rick Kreisman would have had that thing totally redeveloped by now. And you want to talk about jobs and equity and affordable housing? We'd have 10 times all of it already done, and be playing in Tampa if Stu Sternberg would have come out of pocket with maybe $150 million was all he needed. The naming rights alone would have paid $300 million of that stadium in Tampa, which would have cost him $450 at the time. We'd be playing in it. We'd be done with it. He probably would have sold the franchise. We'd have local ownership, and we'd be thriving in baseball. But because of one greedy dude, all of this is tanked. And y'all can, God bless you. You got your nice little logoed hat, and we can all, we can all go get excited about I love the uniforms. That's all stuff. But it's masking all of this, all the problems that are underneath the surface. And your little bling bling stuff is not going to detract me from seeing what's really going on. Okay. You can have your little distractions. You got a crap baseball team, and because you won't spend money, you got a crap stadium. You got a crap plan moving forward. It's all to make you money and nothing else. That's it. Baseball fans, you're screwed. I don't care about you. I don't care if that stadium's in the wrong place, even though I said St. Petersburg's not a major league city for the past 15 years. Now that they're giving me $1 billion, that's the place. No question about it. This is where it should be. It's all a bunch of BS. And the sooner people recognize it, Major League Baseball, and get him the hell out of here, the better off all of us will be. There you go. Your turn.
I'm not saying I don't agree with some of the stuff you're saying, but I do think it's a little harsh. I do think it is very actually harsh to say that they're a crappy organization from like the top down or something like you sort of insinuated, because last time I checked, crappy organizations don't win all the games the Rays have won in the duration that Stu Sternberg has been the owner of this team. And you could say regular season, they have made the World Series twice in that span. Like, let's not just gloss over that. It's very hard to get to the World Series. I agree with you that if the Rays spent more money and they had a little bit more beef in their lineup at times, that maybe potentially when they were in that window from 2019 to 2023, maybe they could have gotten back to another World Series instead of having just a bunch of first-round exits. I agree with that. But I can't say that top down, they're a crappy organization when I see so many teams around the league poaching their executives, trying to create the same damn thing that they've created. That working out for and it's falling flat on their face. I told you that on Monday. That's not the Rays' fault. The Rays are just really good at it. And right now, the system is not working. Yeah. It's not working. But here's the thing. It's not just the players. That's the thing. The whole thing right now is off because we mentioned it already. Kevin Cash is not having a great season as a manager. It's probably the first time we've ever been able to say that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he doesn't have anything to work with.
Maybe he doesn't have anything to work with
on the team.
And the leadership thing is interesting. The leadership thing is interesting because I've been an advocate, and you know me. I always said, Longo's still available, by the way. I'm just saying.
Go get him.
Just saying.
Go get him.
And it's not about the. It's not about the.
There?
He's still out there. I don't know if he's planning on retiring or what. But even if it's not him, like I was an advocate for bringing a veteran into the clubhouse because you had a young team. Like I think Yandy's like the oldest position player on the team, and he's 31. Like it's less about the production that they were going to bring.
He's not a leader.
Yeah, it's less about the production they're going to bring. You just need someone that's like the glue of that clubhouse. Cliff Floyd, Charlie Morton. Like you just need somebody like that.
You need some adults in the room.
Yeah. And when I see
adults that will speak up and have some gravitas.
Yeah. And when I see what happened on Tuesday night, because I haven't had a chance to speak on that on Tuesday. And I didn't get to hear you, but I saw some stuff you put on Twitter. So I have an idea of what you said. So you can correct me if I'm wrong.
About Siri?
About the Jose Siri thing. Yeah. And first of all, the Rays were losing that game 3-0 at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jose Siri is hitting 186. He leads Major League Baseball with 41 strikeouts. I don't really care how far you hit the ball. Given the way the Rays are playing right now, at this moment, the way Siri's been playing, I mean, listen, was it a full-on pimp job? No. I think Peralta got a little
much worse.
He's done much worse, honestly. I don't think it was that bad.
On balls that didn't go out of the park, by the way.
Exactly.
Many that didn't go out of the park.
I think Peralta was a little too much there. Now
Yeah,
he hit him on the
Peralta was way over the top.
Peralta was way over the top. Now he hit him with the 3-0 pitch. Okay, whatever.
And I'll say this: the umpires got it right. Finally, they had some balls and said, "No, we know exactly what's going on here. You're out." They didn't do a warning.
And Jose didn't even react to it. By the way, I give credit to Jose for not reacting. But the other incident, and I think both are to blame here. Uribe, I don't know what you're doing. It was over with, when he hit Siri, you retaliated. It's done. It's done right there. Uribe, I don't know what he's doing, waiting for him. But at the same time, if I'm Jose Siri, like I'm just walking away from that. I'm serious. Like I'm walking away from that. And people that think, oh, this is going to provide a spark to the team. Well, first of all, it didn't. I just would have walked away from it. Like, okay, he's talking to you. Just go to your dugout. Just move on.
Not capable.
There's no need.
It's all about him.
There's no need to get into that thing. And the optics of it with Jose Siri is the day before in Chicago, whatever it was, he was yanked from the game.
Yeah.
By Kevin Cash for poor effort. And it's not the first time with Jose Siri. This stuff happened last year.
It's not.
And for the production that Jose Siri's given you right now and some of the headaches that he seems to be causing, I don't think that's a guy I want right now on my baseball team.
I'll tell you this.
I don't know if that's a strong take, but
no. What I mean, he's the leader of this type of culture, in my opinion. All about me, what I'm wearing, what my color hair is, what I wear, what bling I got on, all this other stuff. They're way more worried about that than they are about winning baseball games. And that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like on the field.
It feels
that's
like too
what the optics are.
And it feels like too, this team goes as like Randy goes, and not just on a playing standpoint, but from a personality standpoint. When Randy's having fun and he's enjoying himself, I feel like this team is infectious around that. And right now, Randy, when he comes up to the plate, he's got 2 strikes. It's like he's got 2 strikes right away. Yeah, there's no joy right now from Randy Arozarena. And I almost wonder, because the top 2 hitters on your team at the top of your order, by the way, still, which I don't understand, continue to do this right now and not produce. And it seems like the body language is a little off. Is that affecting the team a little bit?
Yes.
I mean, that stuff to me is infectious.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's we got a lot of new commenters we want to say hello to, including Drew Lang. Said tomorrow night would love to see Rays fans give Randy Arozarena a standing ovation before his first AB, similar to what Phillies fans did to Trey Turner last August, helped him turn around his season.
Hey,
it's a great idea, Drew.
It's Randy night.
It's a great idea.
It's going to be his night too.
Yeah. What is it? Bobblehead or something tomorrow?
Well, no, it should be the the left field thing, the Randy area.
Yeah, Randy Land. Yeah.
Randy Land.
He says Randy's done so much for Rays fans. Let's show him some love, support while he's going through it on the field. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. If Randy doesn't get it going, the Rays won't do anything. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Rick chiming in with some really good stuff this morning. Rays won't be suspended for fight because league knows they have trouble hitting. No harm done. Yeah, we swung and missed during the fight. I mean, Jesus.
I thought Jose landed one, but Uribe kind of no-sold it.
Drew for Rally Presidentis. Let's get Randy going. Yeah, let's get that going on social media, guys. Absolutely, 100%. And here it is. I'm here for supporting the club and supporting the players and turning everything around. But I'm also here to tell you what's going on. And this is, in my opinion, that's what's happening. Lonnie says, I went to that game yesterday, and this team is flat. No pop, no urgency, and Goodrum not hitting the cutoff man. Yep. Caballero threw his hands up like
I was going to say that play too. Goodrum in left field was atrocious, and he just turns around and just chucks it into
on this team instead of being
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, forget all the other names I just said. Nico Goodrum is hitting in 6th in your lineup right now.
Who the hell is Nico Goodrum? And why is Junior Caminero not in that spot? Should have been a week ago. Rays can't even land a punch. That's for damn sure. Beautiful hat, Nick. Mine comes today in the mail. There you go. Let me see. We got some other stuff.
To something.
Yeah, right. Send me some prayers having attended the first two versus the White Sox in yesterday's game.
Lonnie,
Dude,
get out of there.
Get
out of there.
You need a refund, bro.
Get out of there.
You need a refund, bro.
We got what's coming up this weekend? The Kentucky Derby. Spend the money to go there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go watch these games in the Midwest. Don't do it.
This is interesting too from Recon Scout. Cash looks checked out this year.
He looks like he doesn't have like any answers right now.
He doesn't have any answers. And part of and a lot of it's personnel. Listen, you think Kevin Cash wants Jose Siri on this team? Hell no. He's stuck with him.
Probably
He's stuck with him. Yeah, you're damn right he does.
Hey, I miss Kiermaier. Kevin Kiermaier is a better player than Jose Siri. I said it.
And it's not even close.
And he was the face of the team, and he always he answered the music. His antics bothered me less than Jose Siri.
And he actually played in the playoffs too, pretty damn well.
And he showed a lot of heart in the playoffs.
That's right. James says, yeah, meanwhile, Randy's hitting 100. I mean, seriously, is it the culture? This is a cancer in that locker room. Why is Siri still on his team? Why? Absolutely. John Hill says, JP is paying Nick too much for Nick to piss away $53 on a bad owner baseball team cap. Oh, my God, nice logo or not. Don't feed the fire. He's absolutely right, Nick. Embarrassment. Randy finally got a hit the other day, and he's still doing the arms crossed thing. Let it go.
Hey, the best thing to come out of that fight was him and Willie Adames just chilling together in the light background, and he has his arms crossed, and Willie has the arm around him. That was the best thing that I saw.
Like they're both like, what are these idiots doing? And that's the only emotion that you've seen from these Rays this year is when somebody thought their ego, thought they were getting disrespected. Oh, he's disrespecting me by what he said.
Yeah,
so
and he's got a different hair color, every week.
I'm surprised. Whatever. I'm honestly surprised any of his teammates came out to defend him. I would just let him get his ass beat. That's what he needs. Thomas Casper says everyone is just ignoring the Rays fake survey. Stu is saying the people are stupid and lied. Give me some more info on that. I talked about this the other day. The Rays, I guess, must be the Rays that are paying for this stupid survey that was done to be sprinkled out all over social media because no legitimate news organization is going to pick it up, where they did some survey about basically just ask the people, do you want the Rays to stay in St. Pete? Nothing specific about this boondoggle of a deal. Nothing specific about how much it's going to cost. Nothing specific about anything except, do you want the Rays to stay here? And it's like 75% said yes, or whatever the number is, completely irrelevant. And they're paying to put this poll out there. Why? Because it's all misinformation. It's propaganda. When people are putting out propaganda, you better look at what their motives are, to steal money usually. And that's exactly what they're doing from the city of St. Pete. And the mayor is completely in cahoots with it. Lonnie says, I was in my Rays jersey and hat surrounded by empty seats, and Goodrum would look at us and throw the ball somewhere else. Really? What a jackass. What a freaking jackass. That they didn't hustle in and out, and this team is not looking good. How many times have we seen people walk to first base? I mean,
Harold runs everything out. I know that. Caballero and Rosario run it out. I mean, I don't know.
What's this? Also, yesterday, the only player that was out for the anthem. Who's that?
Oh, I could care less.
Who was the only player that was out for the anthem? There's only one player that came out for the anthem?
I could care less. They got bigger issues.
I care about that stuff. Of course, they do have that. They still have that. Whatever. Yeah, for the anthem yesterday was the first baseman. The rest were not on the field or the dugout. Let's see what happens tomorrow night. The Rays need to make some trades and break this bad vibe of a locker room. I just say bring up all the kids. Get rid of these bums.
I would accelerate. I'm starting to accelerate. Caminero should be up, yes. But have you seen the other kid behind him? Carson Williams.
Yes.
The other shortstop, and he's hitting like 368 or some crap like that at AA. And he was their first round pick a few years back.
Yeah.
I'm accelerating. I'm accelerating him
and get them up too.
Yeah, I'm accelerating him.
Power hitting first baseman, a power hitting outfielder. Trade one of these shortstops and get them all up. I don't care if they're in freaking AA. Let's go. And it'll be cheaper for you, Stu.
I mean, what do you have to lose at this point?
Yeah. Ownership is why this team can't progress. MLB must step in. Wholly agree. A bunch of nobodies on this team. Yep, absolutely. Lonnie said, yeah, I love you, Andy, but once you get your ass beat in the Trop parking lot, it's hard to lead.
You know what?
100% right.
I think we
right.
need another. I think we need another parking lot brawl to
Can't
get this
hurt.
team going.
St. Pete is not a major league city. Stu Sternberg said it a million times. This is my favorite take of the day by Rick. Stu sees St. Pete now like the old widow that just inherited money. St. Pete sugar mama. That's so spot on. You know, the guy that Stu's running the call center and they get the old and yeah, hey, this is Stu Sternberg from the Rays. Yeah. How do you hello, Mr. Mayor, how are you? Yeah, oh yeah, we're gonna leave town. So you better come up with a nice deal and everything's got to be in our favor. You get nothing, we get everything. And if that's not in the contract, I'll tell you the same thing I told Tampa. I'm taking my ball and going home. So either kiss my ass and give me a blank check or we're out of here. Okay, Stu, no problem. Sending that right over. Ridiculous. Pay Joe Madden as an advisor like we did Don Zimmer. They want no part of that because Joe Madden came in here. He'd be like, Siri out. He would transform this team immediately for the better. Absolutely. And let's be honest. That's one of the reasons they didn't want Joe. That's one of the reasons they didn't pay for Joe because he was too opinionated.
Kevin Cash has been a better manager than Joe Madden was in Tampa.
Do we forget the first 4 years of Kevin Cash like it never existed?
And
it's not his fault. It's not his fault. That's not his fault.
You want to go look at those teams?
3 years or 4 years? I don't know. Yeah, but I'm just saying.
It was two lousy years, and then they got to 500 in 2017, and they were off from there.
All right. I'm not banging on Kevin Cash. He's the best manager in baseball. And he'd be the first to tell you this roster is crap. Bottom line is I'm having a little click going on in this locker room, and Siri is right in the middle of it. Why is he here? He stinks anyway, so I don't get it. I agree. Get rid of him. What else we got here? All right. Yeah, he sent me the FloridaPolitics.com. I'm going to get into that a little bit later on because we need to get to the Lightning. Thomas, and this last one here said Thomas Casper Jr. quotes asked if a county commissioner or city council member voted against the plan if they would be more or less likely to vote for that official in the next election for which they are on the ballot. 65% say they would be less likely. Quote, we are pleased with the results and believe they are a reflection of the wide support for the franchise as we have become part of the fabric of our community for more than 25 years, says Rays president Brian Auld. Please. Survey was taken March 13th to 19th among 500 active registered voters in Pinellas County. All right, I'll go look at that in the because it's all about the questions that are asked and how they're asked and how people respond to them in that way. So, all right, we'll take our first break. We're going to get to the Lightning, folks. Let me see what time we at. Yeah, we need to hit a break. Let's hit a break. When we come back, we'll get to the Lightning as well. Well, we've got some good sound from who pitched yesterday? Zach Littell.
Zach Eflin.
Eflin, sorry. And then Kevin Cash as well. We'll get to that in the second hour, but we'll get to the Lightning when we come back. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group. They are local. They get results. They are trusted. They are the folks. And they are here in St. Pete and Tampa, offices in both cities. They support all the local charities, and not all, but a lot of them that you love. It's all about being local. And the Jeeves Law Group is that. JEEVES lawgroup.com. Back in 3, we're also presented by Hydrate Heroes. Stay with us. JP here for my friends at your local Synovus Bank. And I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta. Big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation. And that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get-acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to synovus.com to find out where your local branch is. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or try to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com. or call 813-485-6808.
With over 34 years of producing small and large events, Extravaganza Productions is truly a Tampa treasure when it comes to creating some of the very best events in Tampa and all across the United States. I've worked with them at the Florida Sports Hall of Fame inductions, the Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-sized event spread across all of Tampa Bay. They are the very best, from small meetings to exceptionally large corporate conferences to galas, fundraisers, sporting events, grand openings, whatever you want. Team EPI has an extremely talented staff of designers and show producers that develop extraordinary events fueled by the visions of their clients. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Hydrate Heroes. Get a free three-pack of Hydrate Heroes. Then you can try it out for free. Just go to tryhydrateheroes.com. We'll just ask you for your email, and we'll send it, and your address, and we'll send it out to you for free. So get a free trial. It's all the stuff I've been talking about. They taste great. 5 calories in every serving. None of the bad stuff. No stimulants, no sugar, none of that stuff that you'll find in all these other energy drinks and hydration drinks. Really, really good stuff. All just nothing but good stuff. Vitamin D, amla fruit, all the electrolytes, good stuff. HydrateHeroes.com. Since I've been drinking it, folks, my joint pain has lessened tremendously. I feel more energy. My brain works better. This is what happens when you are fully hydrated, and 75% of you are not. So hydrateheroes.com, try hydrateheroes.com, get a free 3-pack, and that way they'll know you're listening to the JP Pearson. So just do it. Just go online, try hydrateheroes.com, and get your free sample, and they'll send it to you in the mail. How about that?
You need it more than ever. I walked outside yesterday for the first time, and I got just absolutely torched by the sun. Like, it turned May, which yesterday was the first day of May, and the sun decided to come out and destroy everything. Yesterday was the hottest day of the year, I think.
Was it? Yeah.
I got in my car and it said 98 on my screen.
Yeah, I played golf yesterday, and we were like sitting on the 13th. It was like, yeah, summer's here. And it was a nice day. Actually, I'm like, nah, this is still a pretty nice day. Humidity was still down a little bit. It was a nice breeze. Because like during summer, you sit on that tee and you're just like, it's just coming down. So we're not quite there yet. But
we're getting there.
we're heading there. No question about it. All right, let's jump over to the Lightning. Exit interviews yesterday, just straight to the news. I always love the injury updates, right? So we find out who was playing with what. Tyler Mott had a broken ankle. Ouch, man.
Insane.
Chernak had a shoulder injury. Glendening had a dislocated shoulder and labrum. Remember when he got hurt late in the season?
Yeah, and he played to the playoffs with that.
Yeah. I mean, that's why faceoffs were tough. He was such a huge part. And I don't think he played poorly, but he wasn't the X factor that he could have been, right? Hagel had a glute strain. Yeah, I strain my glute every day.
That was after game 3, I think, too.
Yeah. Perbix had a significant shoulder injury. Sheary was dealing with a finger tendon issue all year long and is going to have to probably have surgery on that. And Vasi admitted that he's going to change his offseason program and stop with the heavyweights and do more towards being, more nimble and doing less weight, more repetitions type strength stuff. So
maybe he should reach out to Thomas Edward Patrick and see if he can get some notes, some tips.
That's not a bad. Because he's pretty good at the longevity thing.
A little bit.
Yeah. So that was interesting. Julian Brisebois also saying that he chatted with Stamkos after Game 5, has reached out to his agent, has also reached out to Hedman's agent about getting an extension done there. Just in general, and I've been having some conversations over the last couple days with a lot of different people, fans and people in the know. And there are some people that feel, and TJ came on yesterday that said, you got to blow it up, start over. And I'm not there yet. And I still think, you could look at the Blackhawks, and you could look at the Penguins, and as you pay these guys more money, of course, they paid Kane and Taves way too much money at that particular time. After they won those cups, I think they gave them both $10 million a year, and when the going rate for the superstars was probably only about $7 back then, far too long. It just crippled the franchise forever. Yeah. I'm not saying that Sidney Crosby's contract crippled them, but it just keeps you from being able to make moves that you need to make.
Yeah.
And as they get older, they're just not as dynamic a player, and you've got to surround them with better players. And, the problem is the Lightning don't have anything to rebuild with right now.
No.
They don't. They don't have draft picks. And don't forget, in hockey, folks, draft it's rare you get a Connor Bedard, and the Lightning ain't selecting number 1 anytime soon. I got news for you. Even if they blow it up.
I don't know when they're selecting in the first round.
Right.
Yeah, where the Lightning go from here is a tough one. Like I've started playing around with scenarios. I've looked ahead at their cap situation, some of the contracts. Who could you move? What can you? And first of all, when it comes to Stamkos, I played with this all year long of what the Lightning should do, and a lot of it was going to dictate how the season ended. And of course, it ended with another first round exit. But it's just Stamkos was the best player though, and in February he was not playing well. And at that moment, if you were to ask me, I would have said no. Hard decision has to be made. But He turned his play up a notch down the stretch and ended up with a 40-goal season. And then in the playoffs, he showed the true heart of a champion.
He did.
He did. And here's the thing. It's more about it's less like the play matters. But if you move on from Steven Stamkos, this great culture you developed over the last near 2 decades that he's been here,
mm-hmm.
That all has to change because Steven Stamkos is at the root of that.
He is.
He is the straw that stirs the drink when it comes to this organization. He always has been.
Mm-hmm.
And so you move on from him. I think this team, you risk this team going, man, we just lost Stammer.
Yep.
Now it's really different.
Who's going to be the leader in the locker room? Kucherov?
Yeah, and they have some leaders, but it's just Stamkos is different. It's just different. And for me personally, listen, I was 8 years old when the Lightning drafted Steven Stamkos. I've practically grown up with the guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you could see it. I would grab it here, but it's in my background there on my shelf. There's a little picture of Steven Stamkos on the second shelf on the right there. And it's his autograph. I got that autograph probably a month after the Lightning drafted him. He did a signing at the Brandon Mall. And I still have that autograph sitting there. Right next to the Marty one. And that means a lot to me as a Lightning fan. So whatever is smart from an emotional standpoint, I can't take it if Steven Stamkos doesn't retire as a Tampa Bay Lightning. I know it doesn't always get to end like that. Vinny didn't get to stay here forever. Marty, unfortunately, the way it ended there with Steve Yzerman was unfortunate. I don't know. That would be such a blow to not just the team, but the community of Tampa Bay. He is, in many ways, you can make an argument. He's been the greatest athlete that the city of Tampa has had for the last 2 decades.
No, I think it's true. I think it's true. Because the 2 championships and, the 2 finals, the 2 other finals, like just the run itself has been the almost elongated, successful run in the history of professional sports in Tampa Bay. That's irrefutable. So with that being, and who has been at the core of that, Steven Stamkos. And plus, I'm going to go back to 2016, and I always will. When he took less money, considerably less money, to stay here in Tampa, that was the moment. And I've argued this before. That was the moment that not only Steven Stamkos put Tampa Bay on the map and made it a destination for pro athletes to live and play, but I think it led to Tom Brady doing the same thing. It created an environment of winning. But the Lightning started it. The Bucks picked up on it. And the Lightning, I'll say this also, Jeffrey Vinnick, vis-a-vis keeping Steven Stamkos, became the most popular owner, clearly, and forced the Buccaneers, if I may, to smarten up and say, wow, we got to run our organization more like the Lightning. We got to be more involved in the community. We've got to draft more character players. We've got to be, they've set the bar very, very high, and fans expect us to treat them the way the Lightning are treating their fans. And the Buccaneers under Brian Ford turned it all around in that direction. And you can point it all back to the moment that Steven Stamkos signed. I think it led to all of the Tampa Bay stuff. It forced the Rays to step up their game a little bit more, although they still, and they've gotten better with their fans and gotten better with their pricing, but still overall not nearly where it needs to be because of the ownership. But so I think I can say that Steven Stamkos started it all. Now, does that mean you need to overpay him moving forward? No, because, and here's the reason. Steven Stamkos knows that he is no longer, even though he scored 40 goals this year, he knows that he's on the downside of his career. And as Steven said yesterday, and we may hear him say this here, I want to win. I want to be a part of another championship. Yeah. And he knows if he takes up $8 million of the salary cap, that's going to be hard for Julien Brisebois to surround him with players. He's going to do what Tom Brady did.
And how far are the Lightning from being a championship team? Because
not far.
Well, here's the thing. At no point this year did I ever watch them and go, yeah, you know what? They're capable of winning 4 rounds in the playoffs.
But Vasi was 50% of what he was.
Right, but I just watched them. I just watched them in the playoffs, though. And yes, you can make the argument that all those games were a 1-goal game in the third period, and that's true. And at the end of the day,
that's fact.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though is, at the end of the day, yeah, the scoreline is what matters. But I still think Vasilevsky. Listen, guy's an alien in the playoffs. He bailed them out. He kept them in it. Now, on the flip side of that, you could say, okay, well, Bobrovsky kept the Panthers in it, and that's true. Mm-hmm. But I just think you look at what Florida is trotting out there and what the Rangers are trotting out there and Carolina and so forth. I just don't think the Lightning, as constructed, are at that level. It doesn't really have anything to do with their star players. It takes all 20 guys in the postseason, and they just don't have the depth. Look at the third and fourth line. You got nothing out of a production standpoint from that. And that's what they have to upgrade. But again, they have some cap to play with, but you bring Stamkos back. What else can you really do at that point? You're going to have to keep throwing, darts at some guys like on low salary signings.
Here's the thing. I think with their core, they're going to be a consistent playoff team. I don't think you'll ever not make the playoffs with this core of players.
I would agree.
So that being said, and we know in hockey, anything can happen. Anything can happen. You just get in the tournament, right? So with that said, I think you Lilleberg and Crozier are your third pair, and they're growing up, and I think Lilleberg's going to be a hell of a player. So those guys are going to get better by experience level. And when Sergei plays, everybody slots back in where they should be defensively. So I think they get better organically defensively, which is where they're most efficient. Now let's go to work on those third and fourth lines. And that's where Brisebois has got to go out and find some guys I'm not sure how close Isaac Howard is to getting up here, but I think he could be a difference maker.
Yeah. I mean, you got Gage Gonsalves, another guy.
Gonsalves.
Yeah.
So I think there's the little guys. Now, and you got to get lucky. You got to get some guys at the deadline that are going to make a difference for you. And that's all about, and I think there needs to be some guys shipped out. There's no question about that. I think they can improve by trading some players.
And here's the tough thing with that. You know who the player is that I think is the most trendy one that people are saying they should find a trade partner for, and I agree, but I don't know how likely it is Eric Chernak. The Eric Chernak conversation is interesting because remember who he played with before? It was McDonough.
Mm-hmm.
And McDonough, you want to talk about big losses for this team?
The biggest loss.
That's been the biggest loss. There's no doubt about it. And
his voice in the room, his play on the ice,
right?
100%.
And it's been a big loss for Eric Chernak. I don't think Eric Chernak over the last 2 years, now he's been hurt a lot, but that factors into this.
Mm-hmm.
He's been hurt. He's not playing with McDonough anymore. I don't think Eric Chernak, I just don't think he's been very good at all the last 2 years. That's just my observation. But what makes it tough to trade him, he's on an 8-year contract.
Yeah.
And he just finished the first year of it. He's got 7 years and like 36-ish million left on a contract that takes him up to 2031, 2032 when he's 34 years old. And given what he's put out there, do you think there's teams rushing to take on that contract?
No.
Not really.
No.
So that's what makes it tough. They needed a better return on investment from Eric Chernak, and they just haven't gotten it.
And Tanner Jeannot.
Tanner Jeannot's the big one. I mean, that trade, I mean, for all the right that Julien Brisebois has done, you're not going to always hit on every trade. That one has been borderline catastrophic.
Yeah. Now, you can say it's a terrible deal. My thing is they got to get him. I've seen stretches where I'm like, that guy can play. He scored 24 goals as a rookie. Something's going on with him that he just needs to find it again. I think he's got talent, and the guys can turn it around. They've got, guys can turn it around. So what I'm saying is, and here's the thing: if you blow it up, what? First of all, you don't have the resources to really rebuild. But if you start trading off some of these guys, I mean, what's to say you're going to get the right guys back in return? It's hard to find guys like this. You have none. So what's a guarantee is you got a great room, you got great character on this team, you got a great ownership, you got a loyal fan base. It's not time to blow this up. In 2 or 3 years, we can have that conversation. But right now, you stand pat with your core, and you go out and you try to find some diamonds. And and who knows what happens at the deadline? You can get guys on the cheap. You can get guys that want to come chase a ring. And if you're in the playoffs that want to come to play in Tampa Bay, you might find some more guys on the cheap. You might have a couple of good guys come in that you weren't expecting. The kid they just signed from Michigan, his name escapes me, good college player. We've seen some of these good college players who are just kind of late bloomers come in and make a difference on the ice, right? And Hagel and Cirelli just had their most productive seasons. So I think there's a lot of good here. I think, what happens is when you have this much success and you don't have it again, people start feeling like, oh, you suck. You don't suck. You're still a really good hockey team. You're not far from being among the elite. You're not to the Panthers category right now. But by the way, the Panthers now are going to be running up against salary cap issues.
Yeah,
some of these other teams are going to start getting,
the biggest thing that got in the way of the Lightning was the salary cap. And not just that, it was more so it remained flat.
Right.
Like, I feel like when the Lightning gave out those large contracts to Sergachev and Cirelli and Chernak.
Yeah, for 3 years after COVID, it just remained flat. Now,
right. The expectation was that cap was going to go up. Same thing when they signed McDonough a few years back to that 6-year deal. You think they thought 2 years into it, it's like, oh, wow, this is a problem. We can't keep him. No, they didn't expect that. They expected the cap to continue to go up, and the cap has remained flat. And that's the problem right now that they've run into, where in the prospect pool is a bit dry. And what worries me a little bit about replenishing that and using and making the most of the draft picks, Julien Brisebois is probably not the eye for talent in the later rounds of the draft that Yzerman was.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on him. It's just, we're talking about Steve Yzerman, one of the greatest players to ever play the game. And that's his thing. I don't think that's Julien Brisebois' thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're like the previous wave where you found all these bargains and Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point and Andre Palat. Like, we remember these guys were all 3rd round picks or later.
That's right.
that it just all panned out. How likely is it that Julian Breezeball is going to find those guys in the draft moving forward with the limited selections he has to work with?
We still have a lot of the same scouting staff, though, same player personnel people. So they were trained well under Stevie Yzerman. And yeah, but to our point and getting back to the main point, you don't, without Stamkos, and then by proxy, if Stamkos leaves, I think Hedman's going to probably hit the free agency as well. It all comes.
Remember, he's got to sign next year. We got to remember that.
Right.
This is 2 years in a row now. You're going to have these discussions of bringing back two players that are in their mid-30s that inevitably you're going to be paying them for a pretty good dollar from when they're naturally going to be declining.
Yeah, and they're coming off humongous contracts. So, and I could just say this. If both of these guys are who I think they are, and they're about winning, and they're about living in Tampa Bay, and all that stuff, I mean, they both have an opportunity to say, look, if we both take a little bit less, how is it going to affect our daily lives? We still have more money than we're ever going to be able to spend.
Yeah, they've made their money.
We want to win. So if we, as elite players, take a little bit less money and allow Breezeball to go out and get us a couple of difference makers, and we go back to the top quickly and we're winning again, are our lives going to be better overall? Hell yeah. They know that. So both of them have an opportunity now to say, you know what? We'll take a little bit less. We'll do the hometown discount to stay, and we'll keep winning.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Stamkos and Hedman, when presented that, they're like, here's $5.5 million. Okay. Here's $5.5 million over the next 3-4 years for both of you. Okay, cool.
And what's the alternative?
So I can go out and get 7.5 or 8 from somebody else. So for over the life of the contract for $6 million, $8 million, whatever it is, for the next 4 years, I got to move my family, go to a different place. I don't know if I like the coach. I don't know if I like the area. I don't know if the traffic's good. I don't know if law enforcement's good. I don't know if, some of these places, some of these cities right now, you want to go live there? You want to go live in New York?
The other thing is, it's like, what's the alternative? Like, what teams are going to be going after Steven Stamkos if he hits the free agency market? Because a lot of the ones I see, I think ESPN did like a best fits thing. And I think the teams they mentioned, it was like Chicago, Chicago,
like you live in Chicago.
Well, it's
Tampa?
not less than that. It's just more of from a competitive standpoint. Chicago's got a long ways to go.
Right.
I mean, someone mentioned
Anaheim. You get to play with
Anaheim.
Connor Bernard.
Yeah,
my wife cares about that.
They mentioned Anaheim. They mentioned Montreal because of the Marty connection.
Anaheim, Los Angeles.
These teams,
you want to go live in Los Angeles?
But these teams, from a competitive standpoint, they're not there. So if you really want to win, those destinations don't make any sense. And then Toronto's always going to have this pipe dream that they're going to get him.
You're not good enough to take them from where they are to the Stanley Cup anymore.
No. Steven Stamkos, listen, 40-goal season, best player for the Lightning in the playoffs. But at the same time, can he be the best player on a championship-winning team? The answer to that question right now is no.
Right.
No.
Right.
The best player on a championship-winning team, and this is a big reason why the Lightning were out in 5 games, let's just be completely honest, the best player on their team, the guy who may win the MVP whenever that's announced, he had a bad postseason. Bad postseason. Nikita Kucherov had 6 shots on goal or something like that in 5 games.
Terrible.
He was just a non-factor. And that can't happen. It just can't happen.
So again, when you add it all up, what doesn't fit is Stamkos leaving for more money. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit what Stamkos is about. It doesn't fit what Hedman's about. And if you think both of them are not talking, you're crazy. Of course they are. What do you want to do? Well, let's stick around for a while. Things are pretty good here. We can keep winning. We got Cooch. We got Vasi. We got beautiful homes on Davis Island. We're 5 minutes from work. It's like we could jet ski to the arena if we want to. I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing?
And they've both spent more than what Stamkos is 34 years old, I believe, and he got drafted. He was 18. He spent half his life here. Edmund, same thing.
Same thing. If I were their position, I would seize this opportunity is what I would do. I would seize the opportunity and say, hey, Hetty, let's take a little bit, and I go to everybody in the freaking say, look, this is the plan, boys. We're taking less money. so we can get some more players that can help us all out and keep winning. Well, I'm on the bus. You're on the bus. Everybody's on the bus.
Yeah,
Let's
and
go.
everyone else is already taken care of. Kucherov is taken care of on a very good deal for what he's worth. Point, same thing. Hagel, too. I know his kicks in next year, so he's going to get a pay increase. So your core is already locked up. It's just a matter of what you want to do with the older veterans at this point. But again, like I said, less about the on-ice thing. It's about what they mean to that locker room and that culture. Yep.
All right, that's our take. We're going to hear from the players and the general manager exclusively here, or not exclusively, but independently here after the break. So we'll do that. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll hear from the guys, and you can see what's on their mind. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group and Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo, we had him on the other day talking about nutrition and hydration and peptides and all that good stuff. He will get you right, as he did Nick, as he did me, Scott Reynolds. Many, many, many happy customers over there. Great patients. So go to BAMMC.com and get your appointment right now. You can do it right online. He'll work after hours for you and be available for you and spend lots of time and give you a personalized plan for your health to keep you well, not just get you well when you're sick. That's Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Back in 3. Stay with us. Are you looking to be more productive and healthier? Do you know chronic dehydration affects your overall health and well-being? 75% of the U.S. population suffers from dehydration, and many of us don't even know it. That was me before I was introduced to Hydrate Heroes. 8 times the benefits with hydration. A beverage with benefits more than just hydration. That's right, 8 times the benefits with hydration. Hydrate Heroes provides a refreshing, great-tasting beverage powder to mix with water, providing elderberry, zinc, vitamin D, electrolytes, amla fruit, which provides a great source of vitamin C, along with a proprietary mushroom blend that has shown to help increase endurance and energy at the cellular level. Hydrate Heroes is so confident you're going to love the taste and the results. They are offering our listeners a special offer, a free 3-pack sample, no credit card needed. Just go to the jppetersonshow.com, the jppetersonshow.com, and click on Hydrate Heroes logo. Hydrate for health today with Hydrate Heroes. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
JP here for Extravaganza Productions. You know, I've worked with these pros on so many big and small events. They recently did the Kappa Alpha Psi Grand Reunion, the Tampa RV Show Exhibit. They did the Skills Center opening of Tampa Bay. They can do those small events. They do the biggest of events. So if you are thinking about planning a meeting or special event, call the talented staff at Team EPI. They will give you a free creative meeting if you mention the JP Peterson Show. They will provide you with an exceptional experience. Heck, they'll even show you their huge warehouse with great props. Anything you want. They'll do it on time and on budget. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
This is The Strike. 102.5 WHPT, HD2 Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on this Thursday, and we're going over the Rays and Lightning. We'll get to some Bucks here in the second hour as well. If you want to join us, you can always hit the comment section on our YouTube page, on our Facebook page, also on WATB on Facebook. You can always watch us and comment there, and we will hopefully put your comments up there and interact with you in that way. All right, so we mentioned it was exit interview yesterday. Nick, take us through the sound that you have from yesterday.
Yeah, we'll start with Stamkos here. We'll play a little tidbit of his. I'll pull it up here for y'all so y'all can see it.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
Julian, he said he thought he reached out to you and your agent. Is there a bit of a relief that something that there's going to be progress here?
Yeah, I had a short conversation with him after the game, and like he just said, he reached out to my agent. So that's all that we have right now, but for sure, hopefully there's some discussions, and you got to start somewhere. So looking forward to that.
Are you confident the deal will get done?
It's tough to answer when we haven't even had a discussion yet. So
that's his agent saying, "Don't say anything. That'll put me in a disadvantage."
Right. And I wonder too what goes into it. Remember last year he wanted to have those discussions, and he was pretty vocal about it at the beginning of the year that he was disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get to have those discussions. He
was pissed. He was pissed.
He was pissed.
Ain't no doubt about it.
And it didn't. And he said his piece, and it didn't affect how he was going to play and stuff like that. He was still going to show up and be the leader and all that. But for an organization that he's been a part of for all those years and been the captain and the injuries he's been through, he felt like he deserved better. And can I blame him for that?
No.
Not necessarily.
No. Look, it's weird. You can get wrapped up in that stuff and feel really disrespected. And I think you have to take a step back and look at the big picture and the reality of the world we live in. All those things are true. But again, you've made over $100 million playing hockey here, and a lot of money in real estate as well. You play hockey for a living. It's what you do. You love to win. And you can get all torn up in the ego stuff. Well, this guy makes more and that guy makes more, and they did this and we did this. It's a salary cap league. All right. If it wasn't for the salary cap, Jeffrey Vinnick would shower you with as much money as you want to keep you here. But that's not the reality of it. And, and I see, Thomas Casper put in the notes there that he wants $9 million a year. Well, if he wants that, he's not going to get it here, and nor should he. If
I had the pencil to this, this would be the ideal thing. And listen, I think Steven, he started the whole thing about taking less to stay. And I don't see any reason why he would deviate from that now.
No.
Now that he's older. I mean, at the time with the Toronto thing in 2016, he was 26 years old? Mm-hmm. Like he was still right there in the prime of his career. So it's even different now. Like if I had the pencil to this, I would try to go 3 years. And I'd probably in the 6 to 6.5 range per
4 years, 5.5. Yeah. I would look at, I'd look at Sidney Crosby playing till what is he, 38 now? And still pretty damn effective. And of course, Stammer's a different type of player, and he does munch a lot of points on the power play. Let's not be, this is not dissing him. We've given him all his flowers and everything he deserves, but this is the type of player that he is now. And, he's not a Connor McDavid that's going to go end to end and just destroy people. He's just not that type of player. Now he's not asking for Connor McDavid type money. Well, if he's asking for $9 million, he is. I don't know what McDavid makes, but it's got to be about winning in a salary cap situation. Now, and here's another thing. When he made that decision in 2016, he did not make that decision based on money or ego.
Right.
He made it based on team. How did that decision work out? for him personally.
Best decision ever.
Go pick up that silver chalice and see your name on it twice. If you were in Toronto, I got news. Your name's not on. I don't care how good you are personally and were in those times. Yeah, would he have elevated that team with his leadership? Maybe, but they're a long way from winning a cup in those years. A long way. And so I think you just get lost in the mediocrity there, frankly.
Yeah.
Everything has to come together as it did here.
And part of this too, I feel like my gut feeling tells me like it's similar to the Mike Evans situation. Remember when, they didn't have those discussions,
right?
Like Mike wanted, and then the season went on, and the national media spent the whole season essentially just manifesting Mike Evans anywhere but Tampa Bay. And they're doing the similar thing with Steven Stamkos. And I didn't watch the ESPN broadcast or the TNT broadcast for these games. I watched Bally's. So I missed some of it. People were talking about, like, even during the game, like in Florida, when the game was still in reach, they were already talking. They kept talking about Stamkos. Is this the end? And it feels like they're manifesting it that he's going to play somewhere else. And
that's what the national media.
Yeah.
Well, the national media has that moniker or has that perception anyway that this is a trash place to play, and you got to get to an original six or a big or quote bigger market, which is the most ignorant thing I think you could possibly
and remember,
say.
we're talking about a league where star players don't typically move to other teams. It just doesn't happen. So I think that plays a part in it. Is that just for general interest of the league, they're hoping to have that big story of a star that goes elsewhere.
Doesn't it feel like there's a difference between Gretzky's an outlier because of his situation, why he moved teams. All right. And it was a different time, salary cap and all that stuff. So doesn't it feel different? I'm trying to think of a star player that's kind of moved around and become more irrelevant. And guys like Sidney Crosby, even though they haven't won in a long time, they won cups and they stayed there, and they're deities. They are just absolutely absolute icons in their cities. And then guys that move quite aren't. It's kind of the way we look at a Rondé Barber and a Derek Brooks vis-a-vis John Lynch, or Warren Sapp. They wore other uniforms. Ew. That's gross. Not their fault, obviously. But, there makes a difference. And, Rick had put this up, and I think this is true. I've read this and heard this, that Mike Evans called Stammer and told him to relax. Evans and Gretzky both told him it will get done. And both of those guys would tell you, man, it's not about the money. It's not about the disrespect. Do you have the part in his quotes here about him talking about how he loves it here? Was that in yesterday's? Because I read the quotes. I didn't.
It was. I had, for whatever reason, when I play the Lightning audio, it cuts out. So I'm trying to set it up here, but I'm also reading through the quotes to see if I can find it as well.
Yeah, and he went out of his way to basically say that, my wife, I have deep roots here. My kids are here. My wife, obviously my kids are growing up here. And it's just, it sounds all the world that's in his core. I think those comments that you just heard were more of like, my agent has told me to shut up, don't talk about money. I can't do that. And then when asked about the personal things, he's very.
Yeah, listen, and I feel like to calm everybody too, usually when the player wants it done and the team wants it done and both sides made that clear yesterday, something is going to get done. So the full quote that I found here that he said was, at the end of the day, winning is what fuels me. Being a big part of that culture fuels me. Obviously, certain things have changed now. I have an amazing young family that has put roots down in the city and really enjoy living here and playing here. From that perspective, the decision is more than just me now. And that's something that is amazing for me to have that and be in that situation. There's different factors than there were last time, but nothing's really changed in terms of my mindset and where I wanted to be and play. And that was here. So that certainly hasn't changed. So again, he's not a player that's like begging to go elsewhere.
Right. And and I just don't think 9 million is where it needs to be. And you could say, well, he's not going to make less than Hagel. Well, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He should, because he's on the downside of his career, and Hagel is ascending. And you need this much. It doesn't matter vis-a-vis one versus the other. If I were him, and this is me talking about some other man's money. I just don't think he's motivated by money. None of that sounds like him. Now, you want a certain level of respect. I get that. And I think, 5.5, 6.5 is that level. And that leaves, it sets the bar for Hedman, and it leaves the door open for them to go out and make some more moves, which is what they need to do. I mean, does he really want to take up more salary cap and not allow the team to, and it's not his responsibility. Don't get me wrong. It's not his responsibility. But if I were him and I want to win, that's what Tom Brady did. It just seems so much smarter. And so many people don't get it. I think it's because society tells us if you're not getting the most, or your value is determined by how much you get paid. No, it's not. It's not. Your value is determined by who you are as a human being, in my opinion. And the guys like Brady and Stamkos, who took less,
and really
look how it worked out for him.
And really think
he's
about it.
He's a Hall of Famer now. He could have gone to Toronto and disappeared.
And think about it from, just more than just speaking of Stamkos, the culture and the identity that the whole sports scene in Tampa Bay has created. You mentioned, Rondé Barber and Derek Brooks, they stayed their entire careers in Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. Steven Stamkos, to this point, has done the same thing. Victor Hedman, Kucherov, all those guys. But even on the current Bucks team, Mike Evans, he went through, 7 years of just crap football that he was around. Stayed the course, and it paid off, won a Super Bowl. Levante David, the face of crap football for, 8 years of his career, and watched that all go by, stayed, signed multiple contracts. It paid off. He won a Super Bowl. And even now, when Levante David's stock has gone up, honestly, as he's gotten older in the eyes of the league, he's still signing contracts to stay in Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. Like, I want people to realize that. That's a rarity in today's sports market. And we're very fortunate to have two teams like this. Baseball's a little different, but we're very fortunate to have star players on both these teams that have tenure with these teams when they had opportunities to go. It just doesn't happen everywhere. And in a market that's not a giant market either, by the way.
Right. And I don't know, I'm trying to think back on what year, but I think it was right before the Bucks won the Super Bowl. I'm not sure when Warwick Dunn signed. Maybe you can check that with me. And I'm not sure how much the Bucks offered him, but as I recall, it was pretty competitive. And I would maybe I would ask Warwick next time I see him, would you do it again? Would you take the money in Atlanta or stay with the Buccaneers? Because I would think he would say, if I had to do it all over again, I would have taken what they offered me, because I'd have a Lombardi trophy. I would have been here my entire career. Can you imagine how Warwick Dunn would be looked at with his stats if he stayed and put up those numbers and won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay?
Yeah,
dramatically different.
I just pulled up an old article here from years ago on ESPN. I didn't know this. He signed a 6-year deal worth $28.5 million back in 2002. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, it's hard for running backs to even get that now.
Right.
The market was a lot different back then, clearly. And he was 27 at that time. Yeah. And he took the security 6-year deal for a 27-year-old running back. Obviously, times had changed. Yeah. But the Bucks did not give him that offer.
Yeah. I don't know how much they offered, how much less. I'm sure it was competitive because he was a main cog of the team.
Yeah. It said he gave them the opportunity to match any offer he got elsewhere.
Right.
And they passed on that, on matching Atlanta's offer.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that was a pretty juicy offer at the time, but I think they could have come close.
Yeah, but to your point, though, I feel like how great Warwick was in a Bucks uniform and his place in Bucks history, it's a little different.
It's a lot
different. He didn't get to be a part of that Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's a lot different. So, and I would have, and I would love to have stayed here and been a larger part of this community for his. Same thing with John Lynch. I wish they both would have stayed. And that's not just on the player, by the way. It's on the franchise. The franchise has to do that as well.
Yeah, there was, from what I recall, after that Super Bowl team, there was there were a lot of issues with that 2003 season. Kind of ruined a lot of things.
Yeah. And a lot of that was on Keyshawn and Gruden and the whole deal. So it makes a tremendous difference to your legacy. And I would think, if I'm Steven Stamkos, it's, when he retires, is he moving back to Toronto? I don't think so. Maybe have a house there for the summer months. Yes, but
and I'm sure Toronto would love to have him because they they had to pivot and go get John Tavares instead of Steven Stamkos. And John Tavares, he's forgotten. He's a forgotten star now. Not even a star anymore.
Exactly. So, if you go back in the history of decisions that were made based on money, they normally don't work out. And, again, it's not always on the player. It can be on the franchise as well. And I just don't see him, demanding $9 million a year. I just don't see that.
No.
But we'll, and I think, and remember when it was darkest before the dawn? I mean, we all thought Mike Evans might go test the free agent waters. Remember? We were like, oh, he may go out there. We'll see what happens. And the day that he signed was the domino. That was the domino. And he took less to sign. He took less. Baker took less. Winfield's, probably he's going to get paid, but Levante got more, a little bit more, but he took less last year.
And even Tristan, I have a good feeling, Tristan had a number in mind too that was going to still probably reset the O-line market.
Right.
But then Penei Sewell just got his, and now I'm sure they're back to the negotiation table. He's going to become the highest paid player at his position, and he needs
more money because clearly he can't afford long enough shorts.
What are you ripping on his shorts for?
Listen, I'm no fashion icon. No, by far. Oh, you get the picture? Can you bring it up?
Is it from that little video where he ran into Graham
Barton? Yeah, the most awkward video ever. It's not awkward. Isn't it weird though? It's like when you're Graham Barton and you meet Robert Hainsey. How's that work?
I'm looking at it now. I see.
Good luck at left guard.
Those are some short shorts, but he's an athlete. He's an #athlete.
Can you put it up? Maybe when we go to break, you'll be able to do that. Yeah, look, far beef. If I had legs like that, I'd be wearing them shorts too.
Oh, and I just found it here. Let me put it up.
Yeah, I mean, far beef. I mean, you got to have a lot of self confidence, and if I were Tristan Wirfs, I'd certainly have that self confidence. Can you
shout out? This is from JC, by the way, on Twitter. Yeah. There it is. There's the little shot.
Got a nice little tank top working there. That's a grown ass man there. Yeah. Well, I guess that's what the kids are wearing these days.
My goodness, get a good look at your future of your Buccaneers right here. Two mammoth of men. This was awkward for me because isn't this Hainsey?
I think it is.
I feel like it was Hainsey, and I was watching that video, and I'm like, oh wow.
Can you play it?
Hey, huh?
Can you play it?
Let me play it here.
Okay. Suit, tie, and everything. What's up, man? Chris, nice to meet you. Graham, nice to meet you. I won't ruin your suit. Yeah, you're good. Graham, what's up, man? Nice to meet you, man. Congratulations. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. It's good to be here. This morning, a couple hours ago. Yeah. Quick turnaround. Yeah.
Tristan's the best. He's such a dude, man. He is such a dude. If he can wear that, anybody can wear that. That's what I'm saying.
I'm like backing it up here. Like, hold on. To the Hainsey handshake. Just watch Hainsey's look on his face after he backs up.
Yeah, you're good. What's up, man? Nice to meet you, man. Congratulations. Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
He looks down. He's like, look at that. Yeah, he looks down. He's like, he's taking my job. He's taking my job.
That's got to be a weird dynamic, right?
I mean, this is professional sports, but
yeah,
it is a little weird that look at him looking down. He's looking at him. He's like, he's a lot bigger than I am. Like my GM said, we got to get thicker and we got to get bigger on the interior. And
the thing, like Hainsey just got that new bonus. Like if you're a later round pick and you play a certain amount of snaps, you get bonus money. And I don't even think it counts against the salary cap, which is great. And it's like $3 million. Like he like significantly, that's a significant increase than what he was making. Those $3, $4, $5 million, something like that. So that was good. So he's getting paid. He don't care,
Right.
I mean, he cares. You want to be, and you'd think Robert Hainsey doesn't know that he was overmatched. I mean, he was. You think he likes getting his ass beat all the time? It actually takes the pressure off. You're still going to make money. If he goes down, you're the starting center again. He's going to compete for the left guard job probably, or right guard job, whatever they do. He's going to be in the mix. He's going to play. He can play tackle. He's a valuable piece. He's not a dominant player. He's just not.
No, he's a rotational piece on a really good O-line in the NFL.
Right. So there's no shame in that. Ain't no shame in that. Did guys come along that are just better than you? And you know what? If you're a team guy, you welcome them in. It's just part of the business. Okay, go get them, kid. I'm here.
Yeah.
You're just be part of the team. I think if you're Rob Haynes, he's super smart guy, great guy. You're just like, yeah, I'm part of the team. We're all in this together. Let's go. But by the way, I still hear people kind of banging on this pick. Oh, you don't take a center in the first round. That's come on, people.
Wasn't it like something like 11 of the 12 centers taken in the first round over the past decade or something have all panned out?
Biggest hit rate in the first round.
Right.
Biggest hit rate in the first round because not many are drafted. I get it, but 92% is a pretty damn high ratio. It tells me you should be drafting more centers in the first round. And Bill Parcells of all people, one of his, it's one of the reasons he went and got Kevin Mawai. He thinks if you can have a dominant badass at center, it sets the tone. It's the tip of the spear of the offensive line. Yes, left tackle is most important. After that, it's center to me. It's not even right. It's center. That's the guy who makes the calls, which are important, takes pressure off the quarterback, sets the pocket to not allow. He's in the middle, so he has the best chance to see what's coming and affect it, right? Yeah. And when the Bucs have had dominant centers, they've been good.
Yeah,
they went out and got Jeff Christie. Remember that, and won a Super Bowl. Tony Mayberry.
Yeah. Ryan Jensen.
I mean, you go to Jason Kelsey, pretty damn good center. You go and look at some of these really good teams. They've got good centers, and I think it's a great pick. And Jason Light said it. He was itching to move up. He had that third round pick in his pocket, and he was trying to move up, and they wouldn't let him.
Yeah. Maybe we should play that. We'll hit the break and then we can come back and because the Bucs put out a good video. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on their YouTube channel. Yeah. It's titled like Graham Barton's first 24 hours as a Buck.
It's really cool.
And there's a nice little clip that's been going around that I can pull up and play of the Bucs war room.
Yeah.
When Graham Barton was still available.
It was a huge hit, man. I'm telling you, this is a huge get for the Buccaneers.
And I also had some other news on we had some other neuse on a certain player that did not get we'll get into that and get into that one in a little take that I have on there.
Before we go there, Rick striking again. That's where those are the Richard Simmons shorts. You're a badass. You're a badass when you can rock the Richard Simmons look and look like a badass.
I hate being young because now I have to go look up who Richard Simmons is.
Get a picture of that so if you can side by side them.
Oh man,
I will love you forever. If you can pull that off, yeah. See?
I just got taken back by looking up Richard Simmons on Google. Never have seen this man in my life. I don't even want to bring him up on the stream, but I guess if you know, you know.
You know. Yeah. Unfortunately, he's a Florida State alum.
Oh.
But, yeah. We're so proud of you, Richard. No, he was an iconic figure. He was an iconic figure. No question about it.
Well, I'm sure.
All right, quick break. We come back. We'll do all that stuff with the Buccaneers. We're brought to you by Extravaganza Productions. You see their logo right there, EPI. If you got an event coming up, it's a charity event, a big birthday coming up, graduation, you want to throw a nice party, you're struggling for some ideas, what should we do? Want to get some cool props for your party? Extravaganza Productions. They got a whole warehouse full of stuff that you've never even thought. They got a Game of Thrones throne. I mean, what could you do with that? You can have some serious fun with that. All kinds of props, all kinds of fun stuff, and they know how to do parties right and business meetings and all that stuff. Let the pros handle it. Get some great creative input. A free creative meeting with the folks at Extravaganza Productions. Just go to their website, extravaganzaproductions.com, and please tell them JP sent you. Back in 3. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Golden and Diamond Source. Mother's Day is coming up. The Golden Diamond Source Mother's Day collection has the perfect gift for the one person that has always been there for you, and that's mom. And if it's your wife of your children, that counts too. You better take care of that business. Mother's Day gift card match this Thursday, May 2nd and Friday, May 3rd. Buy up to a $500 gift card, and they'll match it, giving you up to $1,000 in immediate spending power. That's today and tomorrow only at the Golden Diamond Source. Buy up to a $500 gift card. You can only do, if you want to do 100, you get a $200, and then you give mom a $200 gift card. So it doesn't have to be 500, but if you want to go big, 500 gets you $1,000 in immediate spending power, so you can buy something or just give the gift card, and they'll match it up really nice for you, get it all nice, and get a nice presentation. You give her $1,000. So think you spent $1,000 on it, and you only spent $500. You don't have to tell them; they don't know. It's the gift card match, folks. Or you can tell them. It's always best to be honest. Thursday, May 2nd, and Friday, May 3rd. Buy up to $500 gift card and get that match, $1,000 in immediate spending power, and make sure it's a gold and diamond source. I want to remind you also about the Emily collection, affordable gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. You won't find that stuff anywhere else. Interest-free financing for up to 5 years, a layaway program, and the Diamond Savings Account. It's the Golden Diamond Source, your trusted jeweler for over 40 years. And they're local. Keep it all local, folks. You got to go shopping for Mother's Day. Keep it local and tell them JP sent you.
Oh, I got
this on the JP show.
And now I got to tell you how such a bad son I am. So timely right here.
Right.
This was a bad moment for me yesterday. I'm walking in the mall with my mom yesterday.
Right.
And I saw some little thing in Dillard's. It said something about Mother's Day. And I turned to my mom. I said, when is Mother's Day? And she goes, next weekend. And I was like, next weekend? And she goes, yeah, it's always the, like the second week of May or whatever. And I said, oh, and I said, are we doing anything for Mother's Day? And she goes, well, you tell me. You're supposed to be celebrating me. It's been off my radar. No idea that Mother's
Coming
Day.
from a son where mom has done everything for you, that's not something she can do for you. All right. You got to do it. You have to take the lead here, brother. So, yes. Go
She's
get your
probably- I
get
know
your
she's
gift card
listening now,
at the
so.
at the Golden Diamond Source.
I
So
know.
she
I
can
gotta
go
do something
shopping.
special for mom.
Yeah, they love the gift card because but it's got to be to a specific place and you got to make an effort to go get it. Otherwise, it didn't count. All right, so you buy something, you double your money. You look good. Unfortunately, she is listening, so she knows that you only went half, but
She was even
she'll
looking
appreciate it.
She was even looking at jewelry and stuff like that yesterday at the mall and everything. She's
Well, you
almost
don't
like
buy jewelry at the mall.
We don't
You buy
buy
it
jewelry at the
Golden
mall
Diamond.
though, but I was paying
Yeah.
attention. I got some ideas for inspiration.
All right. Well, now you can either go there and double your money today and tomorrow, or you can get her the gift card and take care of it that way. So
There you go.
and I should know this, but I don't know. You might be able to do it online too and get the gift card match. I don't know, but just call them and find out. Or I'll text somebody and see if we can get that answer. But today and tomorrow for sure. $500 gift card up to $500. They match it, give you $1,000 in your immediate spending power. So there you go. Only at the Gold and Diamond Source. All right. So let's play that video that you had from the Buccaneers about Graham Barton.
This was the Bucs war room when it became clear that Graham Barton was going to be there for them at 26.
Courtesy of the Buccaneers, obviously.
Green Bay has submitted its pick. Tampa Bay is now on the spot.
Jordan Morgan. All right. Love it when a plan comes together.
I love Todd's reaction, the big wow, because he knows that Green Bay reached big time.
Yeah.
You'll get the tackle out of Arizona and left Barton right there for him. Green Bay could have used Barton, by the way.
Hell yeah. I think Green Bay is going to rue the day, just like the ones that passed on Tristan Wirfs.
I think Dallas, same thing. Dallas at 24 moved out to go get a developmental prospect.
Yeah, they screwed up. But didn't Dallas get somebody later in the draft who took?
They took Cooper Beebe, so they ended up getting one of the other better guard interior linemen. So
yeah,
it worked out for them. But yeah, they were looking at. I know that there was more to this 10-minute video. And Barton asked them, like, what was y'all's plan at 26? And, they were playing that game. And Todd was like, we were playing that game of like, Philly, they were probably going to go corner. And like, they were thinking, do we got to move up? And then Dallas, when they moved out, that was like, oh, we probably don't have to do anything now.
Right.
And I thought it was interesting too. I was listening. I know you guys had Scott on yesterday, and maybe he would have, maybe he mentioned it here, but he mentioned it on his podcast too, that even if Graham was gone there, they would take JPJ. It doesn't sound like, from what Scott was saying, that JPJ was necessarily on their board for the fit that he provided to the O-line from a personality standpoint. And they were going to take my guy, Johnny Newton, instead, which I found interesting. But they got their guy.
And they've talked about Graham Barton playing guard. I think that's kind of, let's don't piss off Robert Hainsey. Let's try to, you don't want to dump on somebody. If you're like, oh, he's the center of the future, you're just like dumping on a guy who really gave you a lot the last couple of years. And I'll go back to the day Ryan Jensen went down. And there were still a couple veteran centers out there in free agency. And I said, you got to go get a veteran. You got to go get a veteran right now for Tom Brady. You cannot go with Rob Hainsey. Moving him over from his natural position, this is not going to work out well. And it didn't. And again, you could go look at the grades on Robert Hainsey. Go look at the film. He's a warrior. He did his very best. He busted his ass. He just wasn't. It's the same thing with Gedeke. You put him out of position. You put him back in his natural position. He's a much better player. It's not on Rob Hainsey. This is organizational. They screwed this up for 2 years by not going and addressing this position. And now they have. Let's see what the difference is, because I think it's going to be striking. I think it's going to be a striking. And, of course, they didn't have really the resources to do that. All right. But I think they prioritized the position that I think should be a higher priority with teams in the draft. I think Dallas is going to find that out. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to find that out. So, yeah. And I think it's a home run. And I think it's going to be a dramatic difference in this team on multiple levels.
Yeah. And if you go back and if you go and watch that video too, I just love the guy's so respectful and everything, like as a person, like he's shaking everybody's hand. It's just a small thing, but like he's in the room with like all these different people and they all know who he is, but he shakes their hands and he goes, "Hi, I'm Graham Barton. I am Graham Barton. I am like he did that to everybody. He did it to the owners. He seemed very relaxed and everything. So, like I said the other day, I feel so confident this pick's going to pan out as much as I did about the Tristan Wirfs pick. And I'm confident the Bucs are not going to finish 32nd in rushing this year.
I agree wholeheartedly for a lot of different reasons. Light was on Adam Shine's Sirius XM show, and they had a little conversation about that. He said, Shine said, I have to smile in terms of perfection with Graham Barton, and you guys needed a center, needed an offensive lineman. He's smart, he's tough, he's physical, has the qualities I know you look for in an offensive lineman that we have seen from other great recent offensive linemen for the Bucs. Was that a no-brainer of a selection in terms of a player DNA fit for your football team? And Light said, I think you nailed it. Yeah, it was. And I was a no-brainer for us. And I will be quite honest with you. I didn't think there was going to be a snowball's chance in hell that he was going to be there at our pick. So when the board started to slide and fall the way it did with the quarterbacks going and the run on some certain positions, I started to get pretty nervous. I attempted to try to move up, but I'm glad I didn't in this case. That doesn't always work out that way. Barton is everything we're looking for in a traits and an offensive lineman, especially for an interior player. And then Shine said, at what point do you start to maybe, I don't want to say get antsy because I know how measured you are when it comes to the draft and the process, and you were smart and you're calm, but Barton is the guy. This is the player. So is Pittsburgh the moment? At what point do you say, okay, this might happen, or let's work the phones a little bit? And Light said, well, I think you nailed it. It was at 20 there with Pittsburgh because I know they value their offensive linemen. And I think they got a hell of a pick there, Troy Fontenot, too. But it was about then, and then we just kind of started to, once Barton got to buy the Dolphins, I thought we had a shot. I was worried about the Cowboys there. They got good value trading out. And then I think he's just saying this because he doesn't want to be a jerk. And then when Philly came in there and took a corner, I thought we might have a shot here, a legit shot, and that's the way it worked out. I couldn't have turned out that card in any quicker if I tried. Yeah. So it went their way. And we talked about pre-draft, if the quarterbacks start going, they got a chance. It could be a Jared Verse move down, could it be a Latu move down, could be a Graham Barton, could be the JPJ. But they were smart to address this this situation, and they nailed it. They absolutely. And here's the other thing: not trading up, not having to, that brought you the third round picks, or at least one of them. Take your pick. I don't know which one they would have traded, but both of those players, I think, are going to be really helpful to this team.
So the other thing yesterday that happened, nothing shocking here whatsoever. The Bucs declined to pick up the fifth-year option on your boy, JTS. Shirtless boy, Joe Tryon Shoyinka, 13 sacks in 3 years. And I guess I'm looking at this, and I actually did this yesterday. I went out here on my phone. I got a lot of names in here. Yeah. I went through the entire Bucs depth chart and did like my initial depth chart prediction for this team. And I'm here to tell you, I don't know if it's guaranteed that Joe Tryon Shoyinka makes this football team. Because I'm looking at this outside linebacker room, JP, and I wrote the names down here. Yaya Diaby, Chris Braswell, Anthony Nelson, JTS.
Oh, your moment of truth got
names right there.
Say that again. I think you kind of went out there on the web there.
Yaya Diaby, Chris Braswell, Anthony Nelson, Joe Tryon, Randy Gregory, and Marquise Watts. That's 6 names right there. Are the Bucs really going to keep 6 outside linebackers? I'd probably tell you no. And they need somebody to emerge there, but
don't forget about Rodriguez, their 7th round pick last year that they
Jose Ramirez.
Oh, Ramirez, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
But Yaya, Braswell, Gregory, and I think Nelson are probably guaranteed. And then I think we would both agree Marquise Watts, if he got some more playing time, I think there's something there as a nice rotational piece.
Yeah.
And so I look at it, I'm like, I don't know if JTS is guaranteed to make that team. I think he's going to have to work harder than he ever has going into this 4th year. He's got the incentive now that they didn't pick up the option. He should be fired up. They added to that room. I mean, I think he's on on that roster that roster cut list, I have to say, at the moment.
Good. And what really pissed me off if he has like some great year. He'd be like, where was this? You finally get a
If
little
he has a
fire under
great
your
year,
ass.
then my goodness, we'll take
Right.
it.
Yeah, of course. But you're like, it'd be like, why can't you do that on your own? You know? So yeah.
Right. Because I feel like, him and Anthony Nelson are sort of comparable, but I feel like Anthony Nelson is a smarter football player than JTS. And
Yes, and more
I
productive.
think the team really values him.
JTS is just, he can't set the edge. He's terrible against the run. He doesn't have any pressures. I mean, he's just not a good football player. Looks good, play like Tarzan, or look like Tarzan, play like Jane.
Yeah,
No
unless
good.
the goal is just to keep, the Washington Huskies just all content around here.
Exactly. Well, I think it's interesting. The guy that I forgot when we were talking about the safeties or the secondary that they love so much was Bryce Hall. Forgot they got Bryce Hall. So they've got a really good room in terms of defensive backs. And I think the Bucks were 26th in pass defense last year.
Wasn't pretty. And listen, you know who are the two players who really got the vote of confidence from after the draft and free agency is Zion McCollum.
Mm-hmm.
They think that he can be the outside corner number 2. He played a lot of football last year, took a step forward, probably going to have to take another one. So we'll see what happens there. The other one that got the big vote of confidence was KJ Britt. Yeah. And a lot of people wanted the Bucks to take a linebacker early, and I kept saying I just wouldn't.
No.
I think KJ can grow into that role. And I think JJ Russell, when he got a shot, did all right. Servassier as well. And they picked up your boy Kalen DeLoach as well.
Love
from
that pick.
Undrafted.
Playmaker.
He's very, very undersized.
Playmaker.
But he's a playmaker.
Yep.
I think he's going to have a shot to make that team at that position. So I'm glad they didn't take a linebacker because KJ Britt, he's got stuff to work on. If KJ Britt's going to be a 3-down linebacker, he's got to work on some of his coverage ability because he's a thumper. But I like that they gave him the confidence, at least you're going to be our guy.
Didn't DeLoach run a 4.47?
Yeah, very undersized, so he's really fast.
I'm telling you, he can be used in specialized pass rushing situations. He had that big blindside hit in the Clemson game that turned into the game-winning scoop and score. So he's a playmaker, and I think with Todd Bowles is going to use him as a chess piece to do a lot of different things. I'm interested to see what they do with it. And Jordan Whitehead, they have really addressed their needs so perfectly in the draft and the offseason. I said this yesterday. When you look around the NFC South, it's like who got better in the offseason with their free agents. And I thought the Atlanta Falcons had $120 million in cap room or some ridiculous amount, or $90 million in cap room. And they had the 8th overall pick, and they had such an opportunity to get better of an already pretty damn good roster. They got a lot of good young players, Bijan Robinson.
Drake, they need defense.
They need a defense, and they freaking, Dave Archer, by the way, is going to join us tomorrow, Falcons Radio, and we'll get his take on the Penix pick. And
if you look at it on paper, like who got better in the offseason, again, draft grades after the draft are, it is what it is, right? We don't really know what's going to happen, but a lot of people gave the Bucks anywhere from like a B+ to like an A.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see great grades for Atlanta's draft. They reached on all 3 of their first picks.
Yeah.
I thought New Orleans, for what they were working with, I thought did well to get Fuaga at 14 and Kool-Aid and McKinstry at 41.
Yeah.
I think they only had 2 picks in the first 5 rounds, so I think they did well there. And then Carolina, they kind of took a Leggett in the first round, which was not where he was expected to go. And then took a running back with the 2nd pick. So I know they're trying to help Bryce Young, but from a value standpoint, probably didn't get it there. Like the Bucks on paper had the best draft by a mile in the division.
Yeah, and I love the fact that they just addressed their needs so well. And their first 2 picks were trench picks, which I always love.
Yeah.
And then I think their free agent haul was, I said this yesterday. If the Bucks free agent, if let's just say, if Atlanta or Carolina if they would have signed Mike Evans, Antoine Winfield Jr., and Baker Mayfield, everybody'd be going, oh, they're the best team in the division. They're the best team in the division. Well, we did. They were just already on our roster of a playoff team that won a playoff game. So, continuity wins in this league.
I don't care what anybody says. The Bucks are the favorites.
I don't care. In fact, I do like the fact that everybody's picking Atlanta.
I could have made the argument when Kirk signed, and I said that, like, I'm not going to disparage Kirk. I know the Achilles, but he's been a top 15-ish, 12 quarterback for the entirety of his career. But
And that's their biggest need.
But because of what they did this weekend, I think they just shot themselves in the foot. And I think they created controversy that did not need to be there. I think they shot their locker room right in the head before they even all got together.
Which gets worse, because now if Cousins struggles a little bit, everybody's going to be screaming for Penix.
Right.
And
as a team, you've gone 7-10 in 3 years. Arthur Smith's out the window. New blood is in. We signed the quarterback. It's like, okay, we're going for it. And then we do that.
And you can make the case, and I'm sure Dave will make the case tomorrow, that what if he gets hurt? Well, I'll come back and say, well, then why'd you sign him? If you're so worried about him you can't. I understand. Quarterback has been your absolute Achilles heel for a long time. No pun intended. But you have to build out a roster. You have the worst pass rush in the league.
Yep.
And I heard, Damian, what do you say? Oh, who knows? Are you assured that Dallas Turner is going to be that guy? No, but I know who's not that guy. Whoever you got playing there now. That's not the guy.
I'm going to say you need bodies there.
Yeah, that's an absolute. So while other teams are filling out their roster, you're taking the luxury of using the 8th pick in the draft on a backup quarterback who, if everything goes well, will never see the field.
Yeah. You know who they have rushing?
You could have a legitimate. You could have had the best pass rusher in the draft. I know it's not I know he's not J.J. Watt or T.J. Watt or any Watts, okay, or Marquise Watt. But he's a guy that could be a double-digit sack guy.
Yeah, well, the best rusher in the draft. Take Dallas Turner out of it. I've been believing forever it was Latu. And the NFL told me that. But the NFL told me that because he was the first pass rusher off the board, and Chris Ballard was laughing on his thing. Like, I just got the best effing pass rusher in the draft at 15.
At 15.
Because of some malpractice of teams ahead of him.
Yes.
Like, the way some of these teams play the draft, like, is quarterback too, like, I guess the second, third, fourth round quarterback is dead. If you just need a quarterback, it don't matter how talented they are. You're just going to take them no matter what in the top 10. Is that just what we're doing now?
That's the way it works. That's the way it works. Yep. Yeah. It's bizarre. And I still will go to my deathbed. Because I see all these quarterbacks get overdrafted. I will go to my deathbed saying where they go is as important, if not more so, than who they are.
Correct.
Now, obviously, I'm not comparing the 4th best quarterback to the 15th best quarterback. But look at Brock Purdy. Look at Tom Brady. These guys were taken in low rounds, 6th and 7th round, and they went to good teams that were stocked with receivers and offensive linemen and good coaching and everything. And I'm here to say, if Tom Brady goes to a crappy team, he doesn't become the player that he became.
Yeah, that's
and I think the same thing about Brock Purdy.
Yeah, Mahomes.
I think we put
perfect situation.
Yeah, look at Mahomes, Andy Reid, and a great coach, good offensive line, weapons, everything is there for you.
Jordan Love. I mean, he fell into their lap and got to sit for 4 years or 3 years, whatever it was.
I would argue in that case, it's the Kirk Cousins argument. Is you went and took you could have helped the guy that was right there for you. You didn't win a Super Bowl after you drafted Jordan Love. Could you have won one if you'd have taken a receiver at that spot? Maybe. You were pretty close in 2020.
Yeah, but I think it was
you were an Aaron Rodgers run away from.
I think they were growing tired.
Beating the Bucks.
I think they were growing tired, and you're seeing it now of just. I think they were growing tired of each other. I'll put it that way.
I get that, but bottom line is you wasted 3 years.
But now they're set up well. They're set up well, though, now. It worked out for them, but I don't think the Atlanta thing's the same situation because Atlanta, like I said, hasn't made the playoffs in 7 years. You've had no success.
Right.
So you don't have the luxury to make this pick. And by the way, I hate it for Michael Penix Jr. Penix Jr. played 6 years of college football. He needs to play now. He needs to play right now, and he's not going to.
Right. Yeah, good for them. I'll be interested to hear what Dave has to say tomorrow. And he's an ex-quarterback. So I was kidding him this morning when I was texting with him. I'm like, hey, man, I saw you on the Bears 30 for 30. I got wrapped into that this weekend at some point. It's a fantastic 30 for 30 on the 85 Bears. And I said you were shown significantly in the highlights getting murdered by Richard Dent. I'm like, I'm shocked you're still alive. I said, I'm going to have to ask you tomorrow about what it was like playing against that defense. I said, or will that cause any PTSD? He said, no, I'm good. It was, I mean, you see the hits that they put, but they were allowed to put on quarterbacks back then. Holy shiz. That team was nasty. And well, Dave will tell us all about it tomorrow when we talk to him about that. But
yeah, well, we're signing off, and Junior Caminero is still not up on the team. So there you go.
Hey, but we got the City Connect uniforms. Woo!
Hey, $10 tickets this weekend, folks. $10 tickets this week.
You got some?
No, I am going to Charleston tomorrow. So
oh, good for you.
I'll be gone for the weekend.
Yeah, I will not be at the Trop. Trust me on that. Will not be at the Trop or the glitz and glamour or whatever the hell they got going today. All right. Thanks to everybody for listening and watching. We appreciate you. We do this every day, folks. 2 hours of Tampa Bay sports-centric talk. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget about the Golden Diamond Source $500 gift card match today and tomorrow only. We will see you tomorrow. Dave Archer will join us from Falcons Radio and much more. Stay with us. Or see